Yeah, hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Bigfoot Tales, and today we're going to do another look at some potential evidence. From the get-go, I'm going to suggest here that some of you may find this a little bit uncomfortable, especially with the images that we have towards the end of it, because it's actually dealing with fecal matter, and one aspect of Bigfoot evidence that I find it is very rarely discussed, probably because it's hardly ever been collected, and that is Bigfoot Scat. Just as a little backstory as to this little piece that I have today. I came across this. I was actually hiking through the woods, intending to video some beaver, and I came across this, and it was totally out of place. It was not normal for what you would find in this area for scat, and it was fairly fresh. I can't really tell how fresh it was. It was frozen, and it was red instead of the usual black. But I found this break here that you're looking at. Something pretty large snapped this off. It wasn't simply by a tree falling. You see how long it is and where it's torn off. Usually with a break, it's going to be right underneath. It's not going to be floating around like that. But further down the trail, I did find some fresh scat that you'll be seeing pictures of coming up here. So again, I want to warn you, if you're not comfortable with that subject matter, then perhaps you should go on someplace else. But at any rate, the animals that are in this area, and this scat was, and you'll see later on, is definitely carnivorous, a diet. But the animals that are in this area that I have been frequenting for about 3 years now, over 3 years actually now, include deer, rabbit, mink, or fisher as well. There's some raccoons, beaver. You'll find smaller animals as well, different mice and amphibians and that sort of thing. But they're also, for the apex predator of this area, other than mankind, is going to be the coyote. I've frequently found coyote tracks down in this area, but the scat that's coming up, and here it is here, is actually larger than what you find for the average coyote scat. And when I start examining this, you'll see clearly that this is a meat diet. There are chunks of meat in there, but there are also what looks like pieces of nuts in there as well, like acorns or something like that. Again, I wasn't prepared to collect any evidence of this sort. That's not the reason I was down here, but nevertheless, I did come across it, and I shared this with some other people. They couldn't really identify it for sure, because it was strange compared to what you'd normally see. And my thought is coyote. However, it's too big to be normal coyote. Perhaps it's a huge coyote. But there's a couple of secrets that I'm going to go over a little later here. And you can see as I'm tearing it apart that there's bits of bone, there's hair fibers in there, as well as some other things. Looks like maybe some berries and nuts. So again, I can't really tell for sure what this is just by looking at it. I've shown the pictures around to several people, and I have gotten no conclusive suggestions as to what it may be from. Overall, it's about 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches in diameter, and about 8 inches total, lining up all the pieces. It's between 7 and 8 inches long, which is actually pretty big for a coyote. So again, don't really know what it's from. That would be my best guess, but I can't say definitively. Now the question here we have to ask is, when we come across stuff like this, can it be a Sasquatch scat or a Bigfoot scat? We don't really know for sure because we've never found a Bigfoot. we don't know for sure that they exist other than in our mind. So most of the evidence that we find is subjective in nature, and it's open for a wide range of discussion. And no matter what group you get into or what forum you address this issue in, you're going to have a wide-ranging set of opinions that vary widely from each other. So again, is this a coyote scat or is this a Bigfoot scat? To look at it, and looking at it here, now I'll superimpose a picture here of a coyote scat, and it looks nothing like the typical coyote scat. It's bright red, or reddish brown, rather, than more blackish like you would find from these animals. The same thing goes for the wolf, which brings up an interesting potential here that I want to address as well. There are in Maine, according to pictures I've seen and other reports, a kind of a hybrid coyote called a coy-wolf, which ostensibly is a interbreeding between wolves and coyote. I'm not really sure. I've never actually seen one. They have seen one. I'm not really sure. I thought I saw a wolf, a small one, but it's hard to tell until you actually tag one and bring it in for examination by a wildlife biologist. But I've received several stories or reports of there being a wolf in this area. Officially, the wolf doesn't exist in Maine, but officially the cougar doesn't exist in Maine either. I think we're starting to see a resurgence of these animals that once flourished here. I don't think we're going to see the huge numbers that used to be here, but I think those animals, in fact, may exist. At one point in time, the Canadian lynx was extinct from Maine, and there was never any hope of them being seen here. And yet we frequently see up in northern Maine, Aroostook County, upper Piscataquis County and Franklin County, and through there, we keep seeing pictures of lynx in people's yards. So it is possible that this could be true. And this could be not a coyote scat, but could also be a wolf scat. It's large enough, but again, it doesn't fit the profile. So again, we go back to vacillate towards the idea that could this be a Bigfoot scat? It's possible, but again, we don't know because we've never been able to examine a Bigfoot. You see in these pictures that I'm going to be inserting here, the dimensions of it and some close-ups of it and what it looks like and the content and so forth. It's clearly our carnivorous diet. What we found, or what we know of from Bigfoot and the stories that we've heard, is that Bigfoot tends to be more of a omnivorous type of creature, just like us humans. And bringing that up, this scat could also be human. Not really sure what kind of a human would eat an animal, fur and all, but nevertheless, that's what's in this material in front of us here. So we get back to the stories of what a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch eats, and the vast majority of the reports that I've been able to bring up are that they are, in fact, omnivorous. They'll eat both meat and vegetation. Many stories are told of them eating berries and eating leaves, matter, different plants, as well as hunting elk and other fur-bearing animals to eat. And so we have to kind of wonder. This clearly is more carnivorous, wild carnivorous, not human carnivorous type. Humans to the best of my knowledge, don't eat the hide. They'll just eat the meat, and they'll scrape it from the hide, but they won't actually chew up pieces of animal fur if they're eating wild animals. Humans will take the time to skin the animal at least, or to tear the skin off and eat the meat that's on the inside maybe. But not like this. This is clearly not human. This is done by something that ate the animal whole. I didn't find any skeletal remains anywhere, so I'm not really sure where this comes from. I'm not really sure what the animal is, but judging by the length of the hair, I'm going to suggest that this is probably a rabbit. There were a lot of rabbits in this area, so that would be my best guess. So again, we get back to the issue of, is this a Bigfoot Scat or not? I'm going to say probably not. For the reason that this is purely carnivorous type of excrement or fecal matter. There is no sign of any vegetation in there at all, except for, and this is what confuses me, is the pieces where it looked like there was some sort of a nut. Further down, or further west of where this was, is white oak forest of probably 2 to 3 acres of mixed deciduous trees, were a large percentage of them. I'd say probably 60 to 65% or so are white oak. There's also some beech trees mixed in with that, and there's some hemlock. And further away from the waterway, we'll find some pines. So it's a pretty mixed forest, but there are a lot of nut trees. So it's hard to tell for sure. Again, we just don't know. We've never, to my knowledge, nobody has ever collected a specimen and examined the specimen and track what this specimen does in the field in real life. So we just don't know. And again, I'm going to say this, and a lot of people are not going to like it. There may be that there is no Bigfoot, but that's the way it is. And again, my suggestion here is that this fecal matter quite likely may have come from one of those coy-wolf hybrids. Don't have a lot of information on that animal, but I intend to find out some more about it, and maybe I'll bring it up again in another post here. But until now, that's my strange pile of scat that I found in the woods. If you think you can identify it, please let me know. Like I said, it doesn't look like the normal coyote or wolf scat that you find in the wilds. So have at it. Examine it here, and you know, see what you think and come to your own conclusions, which is what I always suggest, based upon the facts that you have available. And until then, hope you enjoyed this short video, and hope you come back for more Bigfoot tales. Enjoy, and happy squatching.